Look around the space you're in right now. Each object tells a silent story about your choices, habits, and mental state. When our physical environments overflow with things, our minds also drown in cluttered thoughts. This isn't just a matter of aesthetics. It's a reality that deeply affects how we live, feel, and think daily. Japanese minimalism isn't a passing decor trend, but a transformative path that begins the moment we decide we deserve to breathe in spaces that nurture our inner peace. Imagine waking up in a room where every item has a purpose and a place, where your eyes rest on clean surfaces and your thoughts flow with clarity, where the simple act of opening a drawer doesn't trigger anxiety. This isn't an idealized or distant scenario. It's a real possibility that starts with small conscious decisions that transform not only our homes, but our relationship with everything around us. The transformation from a chaotic environment to a space inspired by Japanese principles happens first in our minds. When we understand that every object we keep demands something from us, time to clean, space to store, mental energy to manage, we begin to question what really needs to be in our lives. It's not about throwing everything away in a cleaning frenzy, but about developing a more conscious relationship with our possessions. Instead of thinking of minimalism as deprivation, we can embrace it as liberation. Every time we choose not to bring another unnecessary item home, we're choosing more space to breathe, more time to live, more clarity to think. This awareness begins to permeate all areas of our existence, from what we buy to how we organize our time. The Japanese have understood for centuries that our external environment reflects and influences our internal world. In traditional Japanese spaces, even the smallest details are considered not only for their function, but for how they affect the energetic balance of the environment. The clean lines, the natural materials, the soft light filtered through paper doors, all of this creates an atmosphere that naturally calms the nervous system and invites presence. When our home is constantly cluttered, our mind remains in a state of subtle alert. Each item out of place represents an unfinished task. Each surface full of scattered objects is a visual reminder of everything we need to manage. Without realizing it, we carry this mental weight into all areas of our lives, affecting our sleep, our relationships, and our ability to focus on what really matters. The transformation begins with a simple question for each object in your home. Does this item help me create the kind of life I want to live? Note that the question isn't just whether the item is useful or beautiful, but whether it actively contributes to the life you want to cultivate. Many objects may seem useful in theory, but in practice they only take up space and create more maintenance work. Think about your kitchen for a moment. How many utensils do you actually use regularly? How many cups, plates, and cutlery are truly necessary for your daily life? Many of us have cabinets overflowing with items we rarely or never use, well-intentioned gifts, impulse purchases, objects stored just in case. Each of these items occupies not only physical space, but also mental space. The Japanese approach to the kitchen prioritizes quality over quantity. A few well-chosen, high-quality utensils allow you to prepare practically any meal. A good set of sharp knives, some versatile pans, basic utensils, that's enough to create nutritious and delicious meals. When the kitchen is organized with only the essentials, cooking becomes a fluid and almost meditative process, without the frustration of searching for items in cluttered drawers. The same principle applies to the wardrobe. Many of us have far more clothes than we really need or use. We open the full closet and still feel like we have nothing to wear. This happens because quantity is not synonymous with functionality. A minimalist wardrobe in the Japanese style contains carefully selected pieces that match each other, are appropriate for your lifestyle, and made to last. Imagine opening your closet and seeing only clothes that you really like, that fit your body well and that reflect who you are today, not who you were 5 years ago or who you aspire to be in some hypothetical future. This simplicity not only makes the daily decision of what to wear easier, but also frees us from the constant pressure to consume more to feel adequate. The bathroom is another space where Japanese influence can completely transform the experience. Compare a typical Western bathroom full of products, many of which we use rarely, with a traditional Japanese bathroom. The latter is a space of cleanliness and renewal, with few carefully selected items, easy to clean surfaces, and an overall sense of tranquility. Reducing hygiene and beauty products to what really works and is good for us not only simplifies our routine, but also significantly reduces the environmental impact of our consumption. How many products do we buy influenced by clever marketing, only to find that they don't make that much of a difference? Or worse, how many do we continue to buy out of habit, without questioning whether they really improve our quality of life? The bedroom, perhaps more than any other space, benefits tremendously from Japanese minimalist principles. The bedroom should be a sanctuary dedicated to rest and reconnection, not a storage of objects without a defined place or an extension of the office. In the Japanese tradition, the bedroom is kept deliberately simple, with few furniture, soft colors, and minimal distractions. Removing televisions, computers, and other electronic devices from the bedroom is a powerful step towards improving sleep quality and creating a clear distinction between work time and rest time. The low bed, characteristic of Japanese bedrooms, not only creates a sense of spaciousness in the space, but also keeps us more connected with the earth, a subtle reminder that rest is a fundamental part of our natural cycle as human beings. The living room in many homes has become a monument to entertainment, dominated by huge screens and disproportionate sofas. Reimagining this space through the lens of Japanese minimalism means creating an environment that facilitates human connection, not constant distraction. A room with less furniture, more space to circulate, comfortable but not excessive seating, and intentional decoration creates an environment where meaningful conversations can flourish. Notice how traditional Japanese rooms often feature a single focal element, perhaps a simple floral arrangement or a carefully chosen work of art. This single point of beauty has much more impact than many decorative elements competing for attention. This approach teaches us that less, when chosen with intention, really can be more. The workspace, whether a dedicated office or a corner of the room, benefits enormously from minimalist organization. The ability to concentrate is directly linked to the amount of visual stimuli in our field of vision. A workspace overloaded with papers, cables, devices, and decorations constantly divides our attention, making it much more difficult to enter a state of deep flow. Compare this with a workspace inspired by Japanese minimalism. A predominantly clean surface, only the tools necessary for the current task, adequate lighting, and perhaps a natural element like a small plant. In this environment, the mind naturally calms down and finds focus. Work flows with less effort because there are fewer distractions competing for limited mental resources. Storage areas such as closets, pantries, and garages often become what we can call forgetting zones, places where we put things to deal with them later, and that later never comes. In the Japanese approach, these spaces are as important as the visible spaces, because true organization doesn't just mean hiding the mess, but eliminating what is unnecessary. An effective technique inspired by the Japanese method is to completely empty a storage space before reorganizing it. This forces an honest confrontation with everything we've accumulated and allows us to make conscious decisions about what really deserves to occupy space in our homes. We often discover that we've kept things for years without any real use, just for the momentary discomfort of deciding to discard them. The entrance of the house deserves special attention in Japanese design. It is the transition space between the outside world and the sanctuary of the home. Traditionally, the Japanese have the genkan, an entrance area where shoes are left and the mindset changes. This simple practice not only keeps the house cleaner, but creates a daily ritual of transition that helps us leave behind the worries of the day and enter a space of peace. Creating a functional entrance even in small spaces can transform how we experience returning home. A dedicated place for shoes, keys, mail, and other items that often create immediate clutter when we enter prevents chaos from spreading throughout the house. It's a small investment in organization that pays daily dividends in tranquility. Outdoor areas, even if they are just a small balcony or a windowsill, can benefit tremendously from the Japanese minimalist approach. Japanese gardens are known worldwide for their ability to create a sense of space and tranquility even in very limited areas. This is achieved through the careful curation of each element and the celebration of empty space as an integral part of the design. A small arrangement of plants, some carefully positioned stones, perhaps a water element. These simple components can transform an outdoor space into an invitation to contemplation. The goal is not to fill every available inch, but to create a harmonious dialogue between the elements present and the space around them. Beyond physical organization, Japanese minimalism invites us to reorganize our relationship with time as well. Many of us live in a constant state of rush and fragmented attention, trying to do many things simultaneously and ending up not doing any of them fully. The Japanese approach values total focus on one task at a time, completing it before moving on to the next. This practice, known as monotasking, may seem counterproductive in our culture obsessed with efficiency, but it actually allows for greater depth and quality in everything we do. Just as an overloaded physical space disperses our visual energy, an overloaded agenda disperses our mental energy. Simplifying our commitments is as important as simplifying our possessions. The morning routine is particularly important in the Japanese tradition. The first moments of the day set the tone for everything that will come after. A morning routine inspired by Japanese minimalism prioritizes calm and intention over rushing and reactivity. This may mean waking up a few minutes earlier to enjoy the silence, preparing and savoring a simple meal with mindfulness, and organizing the space before leaving. Many of us start the day already in a state of reaction, checking emails, messages, and news before even getting out of bed. This practice immediately puts us in a state of responding to external demands, rather than allowing us to establish our own intentions for the day. Creating a brief period of protection around the first moments of the morning can completely transform how we experience the rest of the day. Meals are another aspect of daily life that benefits enormously from the Japanese minimalist approach. Compare the experience of eating at a table full of objects unrelated to the meal, possibly while watching television or checking the cell phone, with the experience of a meal served in simple but beautiful dishes, on a table free of distractions, with mindfulness to the flavors, textures, and the act of nourishing the body. The Japanese tradition of serving small portions of various foods not only creates a balanced visual and gustatory experience, but also helps us to eat with more awareness and appreciation. When each element of the meal is presented with intention, we naturally slow down and pay more attention to what we are consuming, resulting in greater satisfaction with less quantity. Cleaning in the Japanese tradition is not just a task to be completed, but a daily practice that maintains the harmony of the environment. Instead of occasional big cleanings, small maintenance actions are incorporated into the daily routine. Each thing returns to its designated place after use. Surfaces are cleaned regularly. Nothing accumulates to the point of becoming oppressive. This preventive cleaning approach ends up requiring much less time and energy than dealing with accumulated chaos. More importantly, it eliminates the mental burden of living with the constant awareness of unfinished household tasks. When home maintenance is naturally integrated into the flow of daily life, it ceases to be a burden and can even become a meditative practice. Conscious consumption is a fundamental pillar of Japanese minimalism. In a culture that constantly tells us that we need more to be happy, deliberately choosing less is an act of resistance. This doesn't mean never buying anything new, but making each acquisition with full awareness of its impact on our space, on our budget, and on the planet. Before bringing a new item home, we can ask questions like, will this object solve a real problem I have? Do I already own something that serves the same function? Do I have adequate space to store it? Was this item produced ethically and sustainably? Am I buying out of genuine need or out of momentary impulse? These simple questions can completely transform our consumption habits. Technology in our lives also benefits from a minimalist approach. Many of us accumulate apps, digital files, emails, and notifications to the point that our digital life becomes as chaotic as our physical spaces. The Japanese approach invites us to treat our digital environment with the same care and intention that we dedicate to physical spaces. This can mean keeping only the apps that truly add value to your life, organizing digital files into a simple and intuitive structure, limiting notifications to only the essentials, and creating regular tech-free periods to allow your mind to rest and process. Just as physical clutter creates visual noise, digital overload creates constant mental noise that impairs our ability to think clearly. Gratitude for what we already have is another fundamental aspect of Japanese minimalism. In a consumer culture that constantly makes us feel inadequate in order to sell more products, recognizing and appreciating what we already possess is a powerful antidote. This gratitude isn't just an abstract feeling, but a concrete practice of noticing and honoring the objects that serve us daily. Observe the objects you use every day. The coffee cup that warms your hands in the morning, the chair that supports your body while you work, the blanket that keeps you warm at night. Each of these items plays a role in your quality of life. When we recognize this contribution, we naturally desire less because we realize we already have so much. Beauty in imperfection is celebrated in Japanese aesthetics through the concept of wabi-sabi. This philosophy finds value and beauty in the marks of time, in natural wear and tear, and in the small irregularities that make each object unique. In a world obsessed with novelty and perfection, wabi-sabi invites us to see beauty in the natural aging of materials and to value objects that tell stories through their imperfections. A wooden table with wear marks, a fabric naturally faded by the sun, a handmade ceramic with slight variations. These aren't defects to be corrected, but characteristics that add depth and character. By embracing this perspective, we free ourselves from the exhausting pursuit of perfection and develop a deeper appreciation for authenticity. The use of natural materials is another fundamental aspect of Japanese design that we can incorporate into our homes. Wood, bamboo, paper, natural fabrics like cotton and linen. These materials not only create a visual connection with the natural world, but also age with dignity, developing a patina that enhances their beauty over time, in contrast to synthetic materials that simply deteriorate. Beyond their inherent beauty, natural materials positively affect our senses in ways that industrialized materials cannot. The texture of wood under your fingers, the subtle scent of natural fibers, the way light interacts with organic surfaces, all of this creates a sensory experience that connects us more deeply with our environment. Natural light plays a crucial role in Japanese spaces. Traditional homes are designed to maximize the entry of daylight, filtered through washi paper doors and windows that create a soft, diffused luminosity. This quality of light not only saves energy, but also keeps us connected to the natural rhythms of the day, benefiting our sleep cycles and our overall health. Even in modern apartments with structural limitations, we can prioritize natural light by removing heavy curtains during the day, positioning mirrors to reflect existing light, and keeping windows free of obstructions. At night, artificial lighting can be inspired by the Japanese approach with indirect and warmer-toned lights, creating a welcoming atmosphere that signals to the body that it's time to relax. Sound is an aspect often overlooked in our environments, but it has a profound impact on our well-being. Traditional Japanese spaces value silence and natural sounds over the constant noise that characterizes many modern homes. Televisions on with no one watching, multiple devices emitting notifications, noisy appliances. We unintentionally create a chaotic soundscape that stresses the nervous system. Creating periods of intentional silence at home, incorporating natural sounds like running water or the wind in the trees, and being mindful about when and how we use devices that produce sound can completely transform the atmosphere of a home. Silence isn't empty. It's a rich space that allows the mind to rest and find clarity. Aroma is another important sensory element in creating a harmonious environment. Traditional Japanese homes incorporate natural and subtle scents, in contrast to the intense synthetic fragrances often used in the West. The hinoki wood in the bath, the fresh tatami, the gentle incense, these aromas not only make the environment more pleasant, but can also positively influence our mental state. Incorporating natural scents at home can be as simple as using essential oils in a diffuser, keeping aromatic plants in the kitchen, or simply opening the windows regularly to allow fresh air to circulate. Avoiding cleaning products with intense perfumes in favor of more natural alternatives also contributes to a more harmonious olfactory experience. Touch is a sense often overlooked in interior design, but it has a profound impact on how we experience a space. The Japanese pay particular attention to the textures and temperatures of the materials used at home. The tatami under bare feet, the ceramic that warms slowly with tea, the soft touch of natural fabrics. These elements create a tactile experience that connects us more deeply with our environment. Even small choices can make a big difference. Opting for a good quality cotton towel instead of a cheaper synthetic one, choosing kitchen utensils with wooden handles instead of plastic, preferring a natural wool blanket to a microfiber one. These seemingly small decisions add up to create a richer and more satisfying sensory experience. The connection with the seasons is another fundamental aspect of the Japanese lifestyle that we can incorporate into our homes. Instead of keeping the same decoration all year round, small seasonal changes, a floral arrangement that reflects what's growing at the moment, lighter textiles in the summer and warmer ones in the winter, decorations that celebrate seasonal events, keep us connected to the natural cycles and bring a sense of renewal to the environment. This seasonal awareness also extends to food, prioritizing local ingredients that are naturally available in each season. This practice not only results in tastier and more nutritious food, but also reduces the environmental impact of transporting out-of-season food from distant regions. It's a form of minimalism that benefits both our health and the planet. The practice of discarding responsibly is an integral part of Japanese minimalism. When we decide that an object no longer has a place in our lives, how we discard it matters as much as the decision to get rid of it. Instead of simply throwing it away, carefully considering the best destination, donating to those in need, recycling properly, reusing creatively, honors the inherent value of the object and minimizes environmental impact. This awareness also extends to what we buy. Choosing products with minimal or reusable packaging, opting for durable items instead of disposable ones, considering the end of life of a product even before purchasing it, these practices reflect a deep understanding that our individual choices have a collective impact. The transformation of cluttered spaces into tranquil environments doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey that requires patience and persistence, qualities deeply valued in Japanese culture. Instead of trying to reorganize the entire house in one weekend, a gradual and consistent approach brings more lasting and less stressful results. Start with a small space, a drawer, a shelf, a corner of a table. Experience the complete process in miniature. Empty it completely, clean it, consciously decide what to return, organize with intention. Success in this small area will create motivation to continue, and gradually the entire house will begin to transform. Japanese minimalism reminds us that a home isn't defined by the amount of things it contains, but by the quality of the experiences it provides. A space where you can breathe deeply, move freely, rest completely, create joyfully. This is the true luxury, accessible regardless of the size of the house or the budget available. This lifestyle isn't about achieving some perfect aesthetic ideal that we see in magazines, but about creating an environment that supports your real needs and personal values. Your minimalist space doesn't have to look like someone else's. It should reflect who you are and what really matters to you. There's something deeply liberating about getting rid of what no longer serves you, whether it's an object, a habit, a commitment, or a relationship that has completed its cycle. Every time we consciously choose what remains in our lives, we reclaim a bit of the power that we inadvertently ceded to the consumer culture that surrounds us. Japanese minimalism invites us to a life of fewer distractions and more intention, less accumulation and more meaning, less chaos and more peace. It's a path that begins with our physical environment, but eventually transforms how we interact with the world, how we spend our limited resources of time and energy, and how we define what it really means to live well. At the end of the day, an organized space isn't the ultimate goal, but a means to a fuller life. When we're not constantly dealing with physical clutter, we have more mental capacity to be present with the people we love, to pursue meaningful goals, to simply appreciate the moment. The true beauty of Japanese minimalism is that it offers us not just an aesthetic style, but a path home, to that place within us that already knows that our life isn't defined by what we own, but by how we live. A place that recognizes that we already have enough, that we already are enough. The journey to transform your home through Japanese minimalism is also a journey of self-discovery. Each decision about what to keep and what to release is an opportunity to clarify what really matters to you. It's a process of discovery, as much as of organization. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of this approach is how it frees us from the constant feeling that we need more to be happy. Contrary to what advertising makes us believe, true abundance doesn't come from accumulating ever more, but from deeply appreciating what we already have. It's not about living with less out of sacrifice, but about consciously choosing what deserves to occupy the precious space in our lives. Looking again at the space around you, you can begin to see not just what is there, but also the possibilities that arise when we create space to breathe. Each object consciously removed makes way for more clarity, more tranquility, more focus on what really matters. Your environment transforms from a simple collection of possessions to an intentional reflection of who you are and who you want to become. The transformation of your physical spaces through Japanese minimalism isn't just an aesthetic change, it's a silent revolution against a culture that keeps us always dissatisfied, always wanting more. It's a return to what really matters: connection, meaning, purpose, tranquility. It's an invitation to live with fewer distractions and more intention, less accumulation, and more space for life to happen in its fullness. The path begins with a single step, perhaps an organized drawer, a conscious consumer decision, a moment of appreciation for what you already possess. And it continues day after day, choice after choice, transforming not only your environment, but also your relationship with everything around you. The invitation is made. The moment is now. Welcome to the journey back home, to a space that truly nurtures who you are. Share this blessed video so that it can touch and help other people like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you would like to support our channel a little more, consider becoming a member of our channel. I leave here 2 more videos so that you can continue your search. Thank you, and God bless you all. See you later.